Good evening and welcome to this special edition of TV4 News. I am Nurul Syafiqah Zainudin, bringing you an in-depth report on a growing issue in the education sector, which is corruption among educators. From bribery in student admissions to the misuse of school funds, corruption is eroding trust in our education system. Today, I will take you to the heart of the matter with exclusive reports, real statistics, expert insights, and also a live update from the Johor Bahru High Court, where currently a major corruption trial involving a school administrator is currently underway. Just recently, a former headmaster is currently facing trial for accepting bribes related to school procurement contracts to an amount of 33,000 ringgit. The transaction took place at a bank branch in Kota Tinggi on November 9, 2022. And today, the accused is facing trial at the Johor Bahru High Court. Now, first, let's go live to our correspondent Nurul Amira, who is at the Johor Bahru High Court covering today's proceedings. Amira, what's the latest that you can share with us?
Hello, Sri Pentas. It's Nurul Amira here. I am currently right in front of the Johor Bahru High Court, where suspects are currently being tried for the case. This is right in the middle of Johor Bahru. We have been informed that the case trial in this court has been going on since this morning. The earlier session started at 9:30 a.m. and right now the clock shows 4 p.m. and the session has not yet been dismissed, nor has it been ended yet. We have spoken to legal experts who have mentioned that this case could set a precedent for similar cases that will take place or might happen in the future. Well, many are currently following the developments of this case as we speak. You can see behind me that the security is very tight here near the High Court area, where police officers are stationed around this area in order to ensure the clarity of traffic of this courthouse. Only the lawyers and those directly related to this case are permitted and allowed to enter the courtroom, which are still in session right now. As of now, we are waiting for further updates from inside the courtroom. You can see here there is actually other medias, the news reporters here involved, currently waiting right outside this courthouse as well to provide the public and the whole nation with the updates of this case. It is still unclear for how long this case is going to take or going to last, but we will keep you updated and informed with the new information as early as it emerges later on. Nurul Amira here, reporting from Johor Bahru High Court. Back to Sri Pentas Bandar Utama.
Thank you, Amira, for the latest update. This case brings up an important question. Where do we draw the line when it comes to teacher ethics? Corruption in education directly violates the ethical principles that teachers and school administrators should uphold. According to the Malaysian Education Act, teachers are expected to demonstrate integrity and professionalism. However, when educators engage in bribery or misuse their positions for personal gain, it compromises the quality of education and undermines public trust in the education system. This is a fundamental breach of the ethical standards set forth for teaching professionals. Teachers are more than just educators. They are role models entrusted with the responsibility of teaching and shaping our future generations. The Teachers' Code of Ethics clearly states that teachers must act with integrity and also remain impartial in all school-related decisions. They should never, ever misuse their authority for personal gain, and that Any form of a bribery, whether accepted or asked or given, or favoritism even, is a violation of professional ethics. However, cases like today's trial shows that some educators are failing to uphold these principles. The question remains, how can we prevent this from happening? Let's take a look at several news reports from the past few years regarding cases related to corruption in the education sector. On January 11, 2022 at Pahang, a school headmaster was charged after being found to have appointed a company owned by his own wife for matters related to a sailing sports event in 2014, amounting to 1,200 ringgit under the sports allocation involving the Pahang School Sports Council (MSSP) and also 700 ringgit for the registration fee of a sailing sports event organized by the Ministry of Education in the same year. The accused was charged under Section 23 of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) Act 2009, which carries a maximum sentence of 24 years in prison and a fine of 5 times the bribe amount or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher. On May 18, 2022 at Kedah, a secondary school teacher pleaded not guilty to 2 corruption charges involving the misuse of his position for obtaining bribes related to school equipment supply 5 years ago. He was accused of using his own position as the head of the Physical Education and Health PJK panel while serving at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan SMK Pokok Sena to receive bribes by recommending his own company, Hazwan Event Management, for supplying goods through a purchase note valued at 2,353 ringgit 66 cents. For the second charge, he was accused of committing a similar offence involving additional items worth 522 ringgit 66 cents. The offence was allegedly committed at the same location on October 19, 2017. All charges were filed under Section 23(1) of the MACC Act 2009, which is punishable under the Section 24(1) of the Act. On December 22, 2022 at Selangor, a former headmaster of a religious primary school, Azhar, was charged in the Sessions Court with 2 counts of soliciting and receiving bribes amounting to 164,800 ringgit in 2019 and 2021. The bribe was for maintenance and upgrading works of the SRA buildings and infrastructure in the Petaling and Kuala Selangor districts. The teacher, who previously served at an SRA in the Petaling Jaya district, was accused of requesting an 11% share and receiving 164,800 ringgit via online transfer into his own bank account from a 52-year-old man as an incentive and assistance in securing maintenance and upgrading works at SRA schools in Petaling and Kuala Selangor. The offence was committed under Section 16(a) of the MACC Act 2009 and is punishable under Section 24(1) of the same Act. On May 2, 2023 at Johor Bahru, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC arrested a headmaster of a school in Kluang on suspicion of soliciting and receiving bribes amounting to more than 10,000 ringgit on the previous year. It is understood that the individual had requested and received bribes from a school canteen operator as an inducement to facilitate claims for the Supplementary Food Program RMT implemented throughout that year. Meanwhile, Johor MSCC Director Dato' Azmi Alias confirmed the arrest and stated that the case is currently being investigated under Section 17(a) of the MACC Act 2009. On October 19, 2023 at Kelantan, a school headmaster in Tanah Merah was charged in the Sessions Court with 10 counts of accepting bribes exceeding 8,000 ringgit by using his position to select a company owned by his wife for supplying various school equipment tenders 2 years before that. According to the 10 charges, the accused allegedly used his position as the headmaster to obtain 8,032 ringgit and 30 cents in bribes by selecting his wife's company, Rabiatul Adawiyah Mustafa, to supply school office equipment, school supplies, services for the 2021-2022 Co-Curricular Excellence Award ceremony, and also school supply services. The offences were allegedly committed at a school in Tanah Merah from January 10, 2021 to July 5, 2022. The accused was charged under Section 23(1) of the MACC Act 2009, which is punishable under Section 24 of the same Act. This section provides for a prison sentence of up to 20 years and a minimum fine of 5 times the bribe amount or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher upon conviction. On August 13, 2024 in Johor, a teacher from a school in Batu Pahat pleaded not guilty to 4 charges of receiving bribes amounting to 33,870 ringgit and 10 cents in 2022 and 2023. According to the charge sheet, the father of 8 was accused of failing to report to the MACC regarding the receipt of the amount from 2 individuals, including a company owner, between November 9, 2022 and January 17, 2023. He allegedly committed these offences at a branch of a local bank in Kota Tinggi. He was charged under Section 25(1) of the MACC Act 2009, Act 694, and if convicted, could be punished under Section 25(2) of the same Act, which carries a fine of up to 100,000 ringgit or imprisonment of up to 10 years or probably both. The MACC prosecuting officer, Alice Voon Mei Ling, requested the court to set bail at 30,000 ringgit as a deterrent to society. The court later set bail at 20,000 ringgit with one surety for all charges, and he must report to the Batu Pahat MACC office once a month. On October 26, 2024 at Sabah, 2 senior officers working at a district education office, the PPD, in the state were arrested by the Sabah MACC officers. The 2 suspects, a man and a woman, both in their 40s, were arrested on suspicion of accepting bribes related to the appointment of raw material suppliers for school maintenance and repair projects in Kudat, amounting to 600,000 ringgit. The suspects are believed to have received bribes between 2023 and 2024 through bank transfers to a proxy account. They are suspected of receiving bribes in return for conspiring to appoint certain suppliers for procurement transactions via direct purchase and a quotation for raw materials needed for school maintenance and repairs in the district, an official statement stated. The arrests follow the previous detention of a business owner suspected of submitting 2 false claims worth approximately 45,000 ringgit. Meanwhile, the Sabah MACC Director, Dato' S. Karunaniti, confirmed the arrest and stated that the case is currently being investigated under Section 18 of the MACC Act 2009. On February 11, 2025 at Pahang, a school headmaster pleaded not guilty in the Kuantan Sessions Court to 4 charges related to false claims concerning a school beautification project 2 years ago. According to the charge sheet, the accused is a government agent and as a headmaster of Sekolah Kemasan LKTP Felda, Bukit Kuantan, allegedly used false information to deceive the Ministry of Education, MOE, for an amount of 4,126 ringgit related to the Sekolah Ku Indah School Transformation Beautification Project at 25 Felda schools on December 9. He was charged under Section 18 of the MACC Act 2009, punishable under Section 24(2) of the same Act, which provides for a prison sentence of up to 20 years and a fine amount of at least 5 times the bribe amount of 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher. The MACC Deputy Public Prosecutor, Izwain Farhana Ahmad, requested the court to impose a bail of 15,000 ringgit for all charges with additional conditions. On February 17, 2025 at Terengganu, a former school headmistress, pleaded not guilty in the Sessions Court to 7 charges of money laundering amounting to 28,632 ringgit and 60 cents. She was accused of directly engaging in transactions involving proceeds from illegal activities by instructing the transfer of 7,200 ringgit and 3,288 ringgit to a designated recipient's account. The offences were allegedly committed at 2 separate banks in August and October 2022 and is currently investigated under Section 4(1)(a) of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act (AMLAFPA) 2001. 5 additional charges involved receiving illegal proceeds amounting to 18,144 ringgit and 60 cents into her Maybank account in August, October, and November 2022 is also investigated under the same act. If convicted, she faces a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison and a fine of at least 5 times the amount of illegal proceeds of 5 million ringgit, whichever is higher. Showing right now is the table of summary regarding the issues of corruption or bribery related to the education sectors for a clearer view that I have just shared before this. Next, let's look into the visual representation of the data that I shared earlier, and this is solely based on the issues that I have mentioned just now.
The first graph shows the number of cases. Over the past 4 years, corruption cases in schools have been steadily increasing. In the year 2022, there were 3 reported cases, which rose to 2 cases in next year and 3 more in 2024. This year, 2025, has already recorded 2 cases as of February alone, signaling a potential upward trend. The steady occurrence of these cases highlights the need for stricter enforcement and greater awareness among educators to uphold ethical practices. Second graph shows the role of accused. Now let's take a look at who are the individuals involved in these offenses. The majority of cases involve headmasters, making up to 55% of the cases. Former headmasters, teachers, and also district education officers (PPD) also appear in these reports, proving that corruption is happening at different levels of the education system. Next graph shows the types of corruption happenings in school. What are the common types of corruption taking place in schools? Let us look closer. The data reveals that the most frequent offense is the misuse of power for personal gain, such as appointing close family members' companies for school projects. This is then followed closely by soliciting and receiving bribes in exchange for school contracts and false claims for school-related expenditures. Additionally, there have been cases of money laundering and failure to report bribery, both of which are serious violations under the law.
Up next, we have also gathered insights from Prof. Madya Sakinah Azhar, the President of the National Union of Teaching Profession and UTP, through a phone call earlier regarding the impact of corruption and bribery in the education sector. Here is what she has to say.
Thank you for having me. While corruption among educators is not as widespread as in other sectors, even one case can have serious consequences. I think that the most significant impact is the erosion of trust. When the public sees teachers engaging in the acts of bribery, whether in grading, in procurement, or even in hiring processes, it could damage the credibility of the entire teaching profession. The students here are the biggest victims. Corruption, whether it involves bribery in grading or the misuse of school funds in the school, it can harm students in ways that are not immediately visible. If unqualified students pass because of bribes, it can weaken the overall quality of our nation's education. And then additionally, schools can lose resources intended for improving the facilities for teacher training, and also monies that have been set aside for student programs. Then this can leave students without the support that they need in the school. This issue could also affect the honest teachers out there who are trying to uphold the ethical standards. When these teachers witness their corrupt colleagues or friends facing no consequences, it can create a toxic work culture. Then some educators may even feel pressured to participate in unethical practices to secure promotions or to protect their jobs. I think this is why right now we at NUTP we strongly advocate for better ethics training and also whistleblower protection, where teachers in schools, in service, in works, they must feel safe for them to report corruption without the fear of retaliation. While there has been some progress that we see over the years, the current measures to combat corruption are, we think, is still insufficient. We need a stronger enforcement to, and also a better education system that emphasizes legal literacy, whether among teachers or the whole entire education system in our nation. Actually, many other educators might not even realize that actions like accepting gifts or accepting informal payments, these are actually legally considered as bribery. Schools out there, all of the schools in Malaysia should also implement independent audits to ensure transparency in how resources are allocated. To all educators, my message is this: integrity starts with us. As teachers, we have to shape future generations, and that you have to remember that our actions leave a lasting impact, every one of them. And that to policymakers, I urge you to implement clearer anti-corruption policies, enforce them strictly, and also at the same time protect the whistleblowers. Only through these steps we can restore the public trust as well as ensure a fair and ethical education system.
A very powerful insight from Prof. Madya Sakinah Azhar, highlighting how corruption affects not only students but also honest educators and the integrity of the education system. What are the steps that can be taken to combat this issue? Stay with me. Our next segment will explore the possible solutions for this problem. As we have discussed, the growing issue of corruption in education requires immediate action. To shed a light on what can be done to address this issue, we will hear from a well-known voice in the education ethics, which is Ms. Marliana Masri. Ms. Marliana is an academic researcher in education ethics and a former secondary school teacher with 20 years of service. Today, she is also a YouTube influencer who actively educates the public on ethical practices in education through her widely followed channel. We recently came across one of her latest videos where she discusses practical steps to combat corruption in schools. Let's take a look at what she has to say.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below so that we can tackle several tough conversations that matter in our education world together. Now I know I have not been posting for several days now. I'm so sorry. I have been dealing with issues with my computers, but no worries. I am back with you guys today. Now, many of you guys have been asking me about this, requesting that I share my thoughts, my personal opinions on the corruptions in schools. I have been getting DMs, comments, and even emails from some of you guys. Some of you are teachers, some of you are parents, some of you are just some other professionals who are just deeply concerned about this issue. It's like you guys know that I'm so passionate about these topics regarding professional ethics in our education system. So I think that's why you guys ask me. Yes, I know I'm the right person for you guys to ask about, and I will talk about it later. I think we have all seen the headlines. We have heard about some of these shocking cases related to these ethical issues. And let's be real, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to see misconduct and also bribery happening, and it affects students and also teachers alike. But here's the thing, listen to me. I deeply believe that change starts with us today. So today I'm breaking down maybe three or maybe four of the essential steps that can be taken in order to combat or fight corruptions in our schools. Let's go right into it. Step number one, ethics education for educators. First, I think we need to prioritize ethics education for both teachers and also the school administrators in schools. I think educators must be continuously reminded that they are the role models and are constantly being watched by their students and also their colleagues at their workplace, not just in the classroom but also in all their professional decisions before they make any decisions in school while working. And I believe that professional ethics training should be a thing and it should be mandatory and also should become a yearly requirement for all teachers and these educators. I think this training must cover real life dilemmas and also they should be taught how to handle dilemmas ethically. Teachers should be exposed and then I think they should be equipped to navigate challenges without compromising their integrity as a professional worker in school. Step two is the transparent accountability system. I believe it's very important that we must build a transparent systems of accountability in schools. Speaking from my own first-hand experience that I've had before this, I saw how poor oversight creates opportunities for misconduct to happen, and that to prevent this, I believe that every school needs independent financial auditors, and that these reports provided by the auditors should be made accessible for the public so that they can read all the reports. I think if we have or if the teachers have to make any transactions, whether it to be for school supplies or any special programs that I know that this sounds not that serious, but believe me, it is. When we have these audit reports, every transactions will become traceable, and that corruption can be prevented from happening. Step number three is protecting the whistleblowers. I believe that we need to empower and also protect the whistleblowers who have information related to ethical issues because I know that they are doing the right thing. Teachers or staffs who reports unethical behavior that they see must be protected from retaliation and also they must not be harmed. Without this safety net, I think it is why, or maybe it's the main reason that many have decided to stay silent, as I think they are afraid that something bad might happen to them. And this has allowed corruption to continue happening in the education community because reports could not be made to the right channel about corruption. Then, so that I strongly advocate for stronger whistleblower protection laws, specifically for our education sector. If we don't protect those who speak out, then no one will speak out again. They might not have the courage to do so. So who else will stand against corruption? Seems like everyone will be scared, right? Now, moving on to the last and final step, which is fostering a culture of openness. I think we need to create a culture of openness among educators in our nation. So, hear me out, listen to me very carefully. I deeply believe that schools should encourage honest discussions about ethical issues. In this case, the teachers, students, parents, especially the teachers and education officers or staffs should feel safe when they are raising concerns, whether they are witnessing a misconduct first-handedly, or maybe if they are raising concerns or suspecting that misconduct might be happening. And I think that this must start from the top. You know, school leaders and also the policy makers, they should set the example by being the transparent one, the accountable one in their own actions, so that others will have no choice but to follow the right path in fostering the culture of openness in our education system.
Powerful insights from Ms. Marliana Masri, reminding us that tackling corruption in education requires education, transparency, protection, and also openness. But is the current system doing enough? Ms. Marliana also has something to say about the gaps in our current framework.
Now, I get this other question a lot, which is the current system doing enough? And honestly speaking, I have kind of been wondering this too for a while now. I think while we have laws in place, I realize that there are still major gaps that allow corruptions to continue happening and persisting, and that one of the biggest problem is that ethics training is often treated or seen as a one time thing during the teacher induction program, rather than being treated as an annual thing for all the education officers. But the thing is, you see, ethical dilemmas does not stop once you become a teacher or once you have begin your services towards the end of your career. They continue to happening throughout your career. And then I think that is why we need continuous ethics education as a part of a professional development, not just for the new teachers, but also for everyone, especially those who are in the leadership positions, all the higher ones. So, and I think that another gaps lies in financial transparency. While some schools have conduct audits, there's still no consistency. There is no independent process to ensure that the school funds received are used properly. Until we implement rigorous external audits in all schools, these loopholes have the risk to continue to be exploited. Then, if we are serious about fighting corruption, I believe that these gaps must be closed immediately. So that are my thoughts. Okay. So you guys, I think that is all from me today. If you like my thoughts, if you like my ideas and opinions in this video, don't forget to like my video and also do share to your other colleagues, your friends, your peers, so that everyone can gain benefits by watching my video. See you guys soon. Bye and have a good day.
Strong message from Ms. Marliana Masri, emphasizing that sustained ethics training and rigorous financial oversight are crucial to preventing corruption. Her call to action is very clear. Without continuous education, without transparent systems, and without protection for the whistleblowers, corruption will remain an ongoing threat to our schools and also to the entire education system in our nation. We thank Ms. Marliana for her invaluable insights. Be sure to check out her YouTube channel where she continues to provide practical education resources and advocate for a better and more ethical education system. While stricter laws and awareness campaigns have made some progress, corruption remains a complex issue. The government's anti-corruption task forces and school auditing measures have helped reduce financial mismanagement in some areas. But cases like today's prove that loopholes still exist. Until stricter accountability measures are enforced at every level, corruption will continue to be a major concern in education. In evaluating the issue of corruption in education, it is clear that this is a multifaceted problem. While the actions of an individual educators are to blame, there is a systemic issue that needs to be addressed. As Ms. Marliana pointed out, there must be a stronger accountability measures and a culture of openness within our schools. Additionally, it is also crucial that ethical training becomes a cornerstone of professional development for the educators. The fight against corruption is ongoing, but with the right steps, we can work toward a more transparent and a fair education system for all. As we have seen today, corruption in education is not just a legal issue, it is an ethical one. It is up to educators, parents, policymakers, and also students to hold the system accountable and demand integrity in the education. What are your thoughts on corruption in schools? Join the conversation on TV4 Today's social media platforms. That is all for today's report. I am Nurul Syafiqah Zainudin, and this is TV4 Today News. Stay informed, stay aware, and let's work together for a corruption-free education system. Good day and Assalamualaikum.